Alright, it's 8:45 a.m. and we're going to prep some Dungeons and Dragons. We got Curse of Strahd Daybreak starting at 10 a.m. Got a busy day of D&D. We got that. We got more Baldur's Gate at 2. And we got Mythic Odysseys at 8. So, yeah, very busy weekend. Lots of D&D. I ran Curse of Strahd Classic for my Classic group last night. My friends and family group that are playing with, normal-ass rules. Not the extreme craziness that Daybreak and Nightfall are using. I wonder what that weird green artifacting is over there. That's weird. So, it occurred to me that I still need more fucking roads. We need more roads, we need more exploration. There's still a lot of traveling going on, and the same roads over and over and over again. It does get a little stale, so we're going to try to bust out some more road maps in today's prep session. So, for anybody that is awake and hanging out, I see you. So let's see what we can do here. We're going to do, for today's group, they are up in the mountains of an evergreen forest, and it's not cold enough for snow yet where they are. And so we'll go ahead and make a map like this. And this is not supposed to have a road because this is well-known wilderness. Oof. So I like that there is a mountain option. I just don't think that we have a good way to handle the verticality of maps in the same way that like BG3 does, which is a vexing situation, to be sure. It's one of my favorite parts of it is that it has that that verticality to all the maps. I know that we could simulate it with something like levels. That levels would probably be the best way to simulate the verticality of BG3. Dungeon Alchemist, with its mountain settings, it doesn't visually translate well, is the problem that I'm having. So I think I'll switch back to hills and see what I can create with that. So T-Pain, that's a great question. I have three groups. And I could actually go over this in the notes in a little bit, because it's a good question. Daybreak has found nothing. Daybreak has found absolutely nothing. All Daybreak does is put out fires. They overplan. Juan, the guy that plays Anna, he's kind of like the leader of the party, which I don't know why, because he admits that he's role-playing Anna as a complete disaster. Anna's got like a 6 wisdom score or something. Anna overplans, and then shit changes, and then Anna shuts down because she can't deal with change. And then by the time Anna's reacted to the changes and made a big, huge plan, shit changes again. So they've never been able to make any real forward momentum on anything. They've never accomplished anything of note, and they've never done anything of note. They just drift. They just drift along. It's really sad, actually. Now, Nightfall has their fated ally, at least. They've recruited some other powerful allies. They take some big risks, and they are the only ones of the three groups that have defeated the Druids, not the Gulthiastry, but the Druids. They have the best. They're doing the best, I think, so far. Maybe. Now, my classic group, it's not really fair to compare them to the other two groups, because my classic group is not using injury system, and my classic group has access to magic. So they have Lehman's Tiny Hut, which completely negates nighttime encounters. Like last night, there was a Banshee and her 2 Shadow Panthers. And even though those creatures can go ethereal, they can't enter a tiny hut. It's total bullshit. You'll notice that, like, you know, Tiny Hut didn't make it into BG3. You know what I'm saying? So they don't have to worry about any nighttime encounters at all. And they have collected their fated ally, who is Davian Mardukov. I will admit, Davian Mardukov is only good for tanking non-magical damage. Like, he just sucks in combat. He just doesn't really... He's not very good. And they got the hilt of the Sunblade from the Wagner house, but they ended up burning down her house, stealing her daughter, and then have her getting arrested, her and her sons getting arrested and killed by Isaac Strahd. So they saved Stella, but Stella's still a cat. So they finally went to Kresik last night because they want the abbot... They want the abbot to heal Stella. Oh, they also kidnapped Victor. So they have Victor, and they guilted Victor into helping them with Stella. So they have Victor and Stella, and they've gone to Kresik with the hilt of the Sunblade. Now, I'm playing it that the Sunblade must be restored by throwing it into the lake. And then Sergei's spirit will possess the blade and make it stronger or whatever. And then also, if Irenia is still alive, Irenia will carry the blade into the lake and sort of be like baptized in her memories. She'll gain the abilities of her previous incarnations. She'll come back out with the Sunblade, and everybody will be like, holy shit. She'll have some paladin powers, and then she'll give the Sunblade back to the party to use. So I would say Daybreak is doing the best, but they have Lehman's Tiny Hut and Healing Word, and they're not playing with the injury system. So, yeah, life is going to be much easier for them. Now, their fight against Whiteclaw last night, because in order to get into Kresik, you have to go defeat Whiteclaw. Their fight with Whiteclaw last night was pretty fucking nuts. These guys aren't very good at D&D, so, like, I make sure that their NPC, they have NPCs that actually fight in combat. Their NPCs were like MVP last night. MVP. Unfortunately, one of them died permanently. Davian died, but since he's a fated ally, he had a fate point. It was fucking crazy last night in Curse of Strahd Classic. Whiteclaw was definitely a good fight. How many Setzers did they crush in the battle against Whiteclaw? None. Nobody. I think nobody got the joke that she's like this hot blonde girl named Whiteclaw. But I don't know. It was still pretty cool. Still pretty cool. Let's see. I did almost have a bad reveal. I pulled the leader of Kresik's mini out, and I hadn't updated it with the Momo settings, so it randomized his werewolf setting, but none of my players saw it because they were all zoomed too far out on the map. Yeah. So I got to remember when I drag people out that I have to drag them out invisibly, or I have to check every single mini and make sure that we're using Momo settings. I don't know. That's a pain in the ass. Okay. So let's go ahead and create a new map here. We're going to do Forested Hills. We're going to do Evergreen Forest. Let's try again. I did run into a lot of last night, but Baldur's Gate 3 lets us shove as a bonus action. But Baldur's Gate 3 lets us cast 2 leveled spells. And I was like, damn, guys. And then my one friend is like, listen, this ain't one of your paid games. This ain't one of your stream games. You could break the rules for us. Come on, it's Baldur's Gate 3 time. And I was like, I'm still thinking about it. I haven't made up my mind. So, we'll see what happens. Alright, so here we have a hilly, quote-unquote, hilly forest. I feel like their solution to hilly was just to throw a shitload of rocks everywhere. Which is fine. We're going to go ahead and start moving things around. If I can remember how. The constant struggle. Edit room, remove room, objects. There we go. Alright, so let's start moving shit around. Just because we're in the wilderness doesn't mean that we don't want a good place to have a fight. So we'll assume that there's like a trail that they had to follow. Like the idea of all these rocks right here in the middle. So we'll kind of stack all those up. There we go. Alright. And we can move some of these bigger rocks off to the side. There we go. Now this is a big ass map, so I don't know if we're making it unnecessarily big just to get a clearing out of it, but let's see. We can also look at sculpting the terrain just a little bit. So what we could do is, since this is supposed to be the mountains, is we could try to raise the sides here a bit. Let's see. There we go. Maybe increase the strength and the size so it goes a little bit faster. There we go. Get that raised up. There we go. Because this way we get the sense that we're in the mountains still, because there is higher terrain. But it's not like higher terrain that we can really mess with. There we go. But yeah, the BG3 verticality situation, it does make me want to explore the levels mod like a lot more and see just what can we do, right? What can we do to kind of reach that level of verticality? And I just don't know if people are going to be actively engaged enough to want to use levels and have to switch back and forth. So I'm sure there's like a compromise of just having some elevation and ledges. We could probably get away with, remember the Divinity, I don't know if you guys remember the Divinity game I ran for Extra Life last year, but we used the set elevation macro quite a bit, and that allowed us to kind of create areas that had a higher elevation. If higher elevation provided a reward, like every 10 feet of elevation gave you a +1 to your attack roll and +10 to your range, I feel like that might be a worthwhile thing for people. Alright. Make this hill right here. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. Alright. Let's go back to placement. And start moving stuff around. Let's see. There we go. And it doesn't have to be perfect, is the thing. We're not trying to like start our own map making service. We're not trying to revolutionize the world. I just want to have some variety of maps when they're exploring outdoors, because Benios provided many maps as part of his service, and they are exquisite and wonderful, but they still don't cover all the angles. So it'd be cool to have that sort of sorted a bit. But even then, you can kind of see top down. It is hard to understand what we're looking at here, right? I think. And I like a map that reads well, and I just feel like these Dungeon Alchemist maps can be very hard to read. I don't necessarily know if it's their fault. One solution would be to take them into Photoshop and use filters and effects to make them a bit easier to read and understand. It would also be kind of what I'm doing right here, just moving shit around and placing shit in a way that it's a little bit easier to kind of tell what's where and why, that sort of thing. Well, so I'm tempted, like I'm working on my own. I don't want to call it, I don't want to call it my own D&D, but I'm working on my own D&D that I will probably use to run Planescape, because I don't think I'm going to stick around for Pathfinder. I think Pathfinder is very cool, and I think there's a lot of cool things about it. Maybe by the end of Outlaws, I will be completely in love, but I don't know if I'm going to stick around for that. So I might go back to a more D&D-esque game, but I don't think I could ever go back to just regular 5th edition. So, trying to remember the hotkey that lets me drop shit wherever I want. Oh, collision off. There you go. That lets you force things into other things. So, anyways, in the D&D that I'm working on, in the tabletop game that I am creating with cocaine and hookers, I'm very excited about it. Excited enough that I am kind of trying to finish or cancel or offload some of the other projects I'm working on so that I could focus on making that system. That's how excited I am about it. So I am going to have a lot of things influenced by Pathfinder. I love the idea of there only being 3 types of bonuses to keep track of. And you just take the best version of any given bonus. And there is no opportunity for an untyped bonus at all. So I like that quite a bit. In that system, I would say that it would be like a circumstance bonus, essentially, if you had a height advantage. So if you had other circumstance bonuses, you know, it wouldn't stack with having that high verticality or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, everything about Pathfinder is really cool, and I think Pathfinder could have been used to make a video game that was better and more fun than Baldur's Gate 3. Honestly, because they made an amazing game using a shitty tabletop system. Like, if they had used a good tabletop system that is very video gamey, I think it would have been. I don't think we could have comprehended how good it was. But yeah, the video gaminess is a bit too heavy in Pathfinder for me as a DM. But I am committed to running it and, you know, seeing it through, as it were. So I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna start homebrewing left and right. I am gonna try to respect the game and play through it. But man, it does leave me wanting something more or different than what I have. It's I know for some like Josh Butler, it was coming home, you know? Like he started looking into Pathfinder 2 and he was like, "God damn, this is what I like. I like this." I haven't had that same experience, unfortunately. Maybe I will eventually, but I haven't had it yet. So there we go. Alright, so we got this little area back here where they could climb up. That's pretty cool. Alright, get rid of these. And yeah, I think this map has some interesting places and things to do now, which is kind of neat. Alright, so we're going to go to paints. What is paints? Paints? Where are you at? I go way too long between uses of this program, and then I forget everything. Alright. Ooh, that's too strong. Okay. Brush strength down. Alright. Go ahead and put this path in here. Such as it were. Alright. Nice. Go up through here. There we go. Look at that. And then there'll be like a winding path that goes through here. Alright. That works pretty good. And there's just so much debris I want to get rid of. Is there a remove brush? Here we go. Erase objects. Oh no! All my lovely trees. There we go. Just trying to vacuum some of these plants up. There we go. There we go. Vacuum some of these guys up. Bring it along there. Alright. Vacuum some of these guys up. There we go. Okay. I dig it. Alright, let's save it out. So we're gonna save. We will save it as... I think I have a maps folder here. Okay. So this is Curse of Strahd, Mountains, No Snow, 01. And it's currently saving it out. It's thinking real hard. Hopefully it doesn't crash. We ran into a situation where I felt paralyzed to make a homebrew ruling. One enemy wanted to push a player character. There was a player character behind them, so they cannot bowling ball them over. Yeah. I mean, even BG3, which everyone is like, it's the greatest thing that's ever happened. Oh, it's better than D&D. It's so good. Yeah, if you push somebody and there's a person behind them, you don't get to bowling ball knock all those people over. It just kind of stops them. It really goes like, how deep do you want to make the system? I feel like the ability Fling, which I think is an amazing ability for larger monsters in 5e, I think that therein lies the mechanics for all of shoving. I feel like all of shoving and throwing is already in the game via Fling, and it just needs to be expanded on a little bit. Alright, let's go ahead and export this bad boy. Export size. We want to have the grid off, and we want to be a JPEG, which sucks, but it is what it is. We don't need the lights because there aren't any. And we want it to be high quality. Certainly not low quality. What weird export size is this, though? Fuck it. Export! Alright. Now, there really wasn't a reason to export this because, truth be told, it, where am I going with this? Truth be told, it doesn't have any lights or anything or any walls, so it's not really saving us any fucking time doing that. Yeah. So we're going to do... I'm going to grab the map we exported, and I'm going to put it into... Here. I'm going to try to save as again. Let's see. I'm going to export, and we'll just make it an image file only. There we go. High quality, blah, blah, blah. Going to export it. There we go. All right. And I'm trying to find it on my Computadora, but it's being a real asshole. Hold on. All right. Date. Okay. We're gonna open this up in Photoshop. I ruled the person behind the character being shoved had to make a fortitude save against the fort DC of the person being shoved. Probably too complicated. Yeah, I would have just, honestly, I would have just had the person behind them steadying them so that they don't get knocked down. I feel like a really big, strong enemy, maybe, right? Like, you give them fling or a bowling ball type ability in Pathfinder, but otherwise, you know, unnecessary. So, I like how when you export a map in Dungeon Alchemist, it does give you a bounding box, like a little DM screen, like dead area behind it. I think that's really, really cool, and I'm very happy that it does that. All right, so we've got this guy over here. I'm gonna go ahead and select just the map area, and what I'm gonna do is I want to do some of that shading stuff I talked about to try and I don't know what I'm trying to do here. Maybe force the focus of the battle into certain areas. So let's see. Soft brush. Go in here, like so. Do that. And we'll go to soft light. Alright, that works. We'll go and grab a dark... Oops. My resolution's so high I can't see all my tools at once. Alright. Go and grab this brown. Yeah. And we'll do that. There we go. And we'll set that to soft light as well. And then we'll do an even darker color. And the idea here, again, is to just discourage interest in the areas like away from the action. There we go. Alright, so now that we have that sorted, down here, oops, nope. Oh my god. Alright, so down here in the world, I do want to sort of highlight, ooh, I could have made a nice winding path up to the top here if I had been paying attention. See, I think that they could have had a nice path that wound up to this ledge here, which is kind of cool. Either way, they could sort of climb up and make it happen on their own, but it would have been a cool thing to build into it, looking for like verticality again. Overall, though, I think this has a good flow to it, so we could probably stick with it. Yeah. Okay. So we'll take it as is. So I'll go ahead and flatten everybody. Nope, that's not flatten. Control F, buddy. F doesn't stand for flatten. E. Alright. We're going to save it out as a WebP. This is a lot of work for one map, I'm going to be honest. I thought I'd be cranking them out a lot faster than this, but it's okay. Alright, so let's see. Where did our games go, and have we been booted from them yet? Excellent questions. Test World's going to need a reboot. We don't need Battle Zoo Ancestries, so don't worry about that. And we'll go ahead and save. Yes. While that's cooking, we'll go here and wake this one up a little bit. There we go. Alright. When this boots back in, we'll be able to grab that stuff. Oh man, it's already been 30 minutes. Oh no. Alright. I'm listening to SimCity build music because I thought it would, you know, inspire me or whatever. We'll see. Come on, reboot already. Alright, sweet. Difference in client detected. Oof. Yeah, use my save settings. Oh, wait, no. Use this computer. True, true. True. Alright. I must have, like, opened it on a different computer and gotten some default settings. Alright. I don't know if that's going to cause a restart or what. Alright, sweet. So, we're going to create a new scene. And we're going to call this scene Mountain of Barovia. And we're going to go ahead and create it. We're going to go to the background image and go up and up. We're going to go to Maps, and I'm going to make a folder called Mountains. All right. Yeah, I definitely feel like the mountains were like harder to pull off for sure. Let's see. Where's the file I'm looking for? There we go. Yeah, but I'm in real danger, Orf. I'm my hyperfocus for this new rule set that I'm working on. I'm worried that I'm gonna start working on it and not be able to do anything else. And I've already kind of got hyperfocus for like Baldur's Gate 3 right now. I don't know if I could handle 2 hyperfocus things and still survive. But I guess we'll find out. Let's head over to Mountains of Barovia. Alright, so Mountains of Barovia has a grid, and it is small AF. Oh my goodness. Alright, so let's grab a actor. We'll grab our test dummy. And look at how small he is. This is a tremendous map. This is far too big, I think. So we're going to go in here. We'll go to grid. And we are set at 100 grid space, which is kind of nuts. And the dimensions are also pretty big. We could probably get away with having that. So I'm not good at the math, so let's just do this. 11100 divided by 2 is 5550. So we'll do 5500, and then we'll make this 4000, and we'll see what happens. All right. What happened to my boy? Oh no, he's out of bounds. That's unfortunate. All right. So I think this will make for a much tighter map. Yes, that's better. Okay. So now that we have this boy out here, we got to go over to Mountains of Barovia, and we got to configure it with the lighting. Unfortunately, now we have to have global illumination as a specific setting, so we got to enable it. Save. We'll make it a little dark because Barovia. And now when we select this boy, he should be able to see. Excellent. Alright, we're going to get the walls out now. We're going to do snap to grid square, and we're going to bounding box this so that we have that DM workspace outside of the map. We're going to switch to some terrain walls here, I think is the right move. And we'll turn off all these fancy bits, and we'll go here and do that. So I like the idea of them being able to see the rocks, but I don't want them to be able to see through the rocks, so we'll do terrain wall. There we go. Alright. And then I like the idea that they could see up onto the ledge here, but they would have to climb to get up there. So we will go ahead and map it around what I'm going to pretend is the base of the cliff. There we go. I wish there was a mod that let the DM always see the walls, even if they weren't on the wall level. Wouldn't that be great? Maybe it wouldn't be great, but I think it'd be pretty fucking handy. Because sometimes on a map like this, it's still a little abstract where the walls are. And so as the DM, if you were just always able to like see the walls and what color the walls are and what type of walls they were, I just feel like that would be so useful. There we go. So we bring that around like that. This rock right here, this kind of square boulder, he'll get his own geometry. Well, there is a mod that helps with your DM vision. It like reduces darkness impact on the DM. I don't know if you've seen that one. All right, bring this over here, like so. But like this, like I'm deciding that this is where the wall is, but they're not really gonna know until they, you know, butt up against the problem, essentially. So I feel like, again, I'd love to be able to see where this is. And you might say, oh, well, you could just go into the actor layer and use the marker to draw. But the problem is, I don't actually remember like where I thought it would be a good idea to draw these fucking walls. That's why I need them, that mod in the first place. Like if I could remember to go and draw the bounding box areas myself, yeah, it's a whole thing. All right, bring this around here. All right. And over here, around this boulder. There we go. So I got a question about BG3, if anybody in chat has been playing it. Has anybody been playing it? How do you feel about flying being unable to sustain flying? I sort of felt like flying was OP in Solasta, but I sort of loved it when everybody would get like all like full Dragon Ball Z and they would start like superhero flying around. I did think that was really cool. Whereas in BG3, you get to fly a little bit as a treat. And it's mostly just a type of teleporting. It's like a teleport that lets people hit you. So, I don't know how I feel. Like, I think that it's smart, gameplay-wise, to do that, because flying is incredibly powerful, and easily abused. But I wonder if it could have been like how Solasta did it, without it really being too game-breaking. I don't know. I think it makes for a cooler fight to not have it be, you know, to make it so that it can't be sustained. So yeah, I got some feels about it. I definitely got some feels about it. I'm wondering how other people feel about it. All right. Got these rocks here. Now there is also dense trees and terrain here that we could make those blocking terrain as well, and then make them ethereal by saying that movement is allowed. So if I went through here and did like this, I could then grab the chain and say that movement has no restrictions. So now they're ethereal terrain walls, which is kind of fun.